Welcome to Self Love Chats, the podcast where choosing yourself stops being a someday and becomes a today.
We are two friends who clawed our way out of survival mode, and we're still becoming her right alongside you.
Yes, ma'am. So, whether you're just starting your self love journey or learning how to trust yourself again, you are in the right place.
Welcome. So grab your favorite drink, get comfortable, and let's have the conversations we all need but don't have enough of. Over the last two episodes, we've talked about survival mode and exhaustion. Today, we're talking about something that keeps so many women stuck without even realizing it: the poverty mindset.
Hmm.
And before anybody clicks off, thinking we're talking about money, we're not. At least not entirely.
Exactly, because scarcity shows up in so many places besides your bank account. It can show up in your relationships, your confidence, your dreams, and your ability to receive support from your friends and family around you. And today, we're going to unpack it all. So sit back and relax and let's get into it.
Yeah. When people hear poverty mindset, they usually think about finances. Let me
Mhm.
know if that is you. If you're on YouTube watching this, let us know in the comments if that's you.
That
But
was me.
scarcity, yeah, was it? Same
That
here. I
was me.
really thought that poverty mindset was all around being just broke and being a
Yeah.
lack. And like learning this shift was completely mind blowing.
And that's facts because it makes you feel like that's the only thing you think of when you hear poverty. Poverty, we're groomed to naturally think as a society that means we don't have anything. We're homeless. We don't have money. Like we can't do the things we need to do to survive. But
Yes.
that's not what it is. And I know you're gonna let us know what it actually is.
Yeah, I mean, this is something I'm still learning alongside all of you and really
Mhm.
still in time, really shifting these beliefs
Yes.
like as with you because these are things I'm actively working on. Funny story, I met my daughter's father, my ex, in Kentucky the last couple of days so I could pick up my middle child, she's 12, from him for the summer so she could come back home. Like, the whole time I'm driving, I'm learning about, like, the poverty mindset, what's holding us back. One person that I learned from highly is Myron Golden, so if you guys don't know him, you guys should go check him out on YouTube. But, like, just the shifts of thinking and just the things we say, and even the things down to, like, what we eat. Is, like, how we, like, care for our body, the things we put in our body, the things that we talk about, and, like, the things that we allow into our life, the things that we consume, and how that is training us, and how I was learning on, our subconscious and how we have just the automatic mind is what keeps us, you know, how we make decisions, but, like, our internal thinking. And so many of us keep ourselves stuck and so small because our subconscious programming is what is running the show. We were just talking before we hopped on and recorded on how you're struggling with getting back into the swing of things post, operation. And that's your subconscious. Like that
Mhm.
is not just like your automatic mind. Like that's your subconscious, like, you were so hardcore working on it prior to, going under for surgery, now coming back out of it is like that that programming is coming back in and out, and it's like those things that we have to fight is
Mm. It definitely is. Basically trying to figure out a situation to where everything feels comfortable, where you're like, okay, so you've been like me, like I'm in that position. We talked about that prior to stepping on the call. Like I've been down for 6 weeks, not been able to move. Look, God and universe and everybody told me, and the doctor said, sit down, you can't do anything.
Yeah.
So with that being said, being a person who always move and who's always ready to move, I got nervous. I thought that, "Oh my god, I'm not gonna be making any money. I'm not gonna be doing anything. I'm not gonna be," I had a mindset. I took myself out of the space where I felt comfortable in an abundant space, and I let myself step back into that poverty mindset, and it wasn't comfortable for me. So, being comfortable, being able to understand that, things are happening. Maybe I just need to slow down, take a breath, and literally figure out what's going on is a growth. Is growth, that's growth. At the end of the day, like I said, we're all learning this together. These are things
Yeah,
that we need to understand. Sometimes it's okay to sit down, but having the poverty mindset doesn't allow you to move forward. It actually hinders you from stepping forward into your true self, into the abundant spirit or aspect that you're trying to get to. So we need to make
yeah,
sure that we're doing our best to stay out of that and not thinking scarcity, because we all get there. We're human beings living, we're spirits living human experiences, and that's completely okay. So we have
mhm.
to be able to step past that poverty mindset and move towards a more neutral, abundant mindset that makes benefits us into our future goals and aspects and things that we have in the future.
Yeah, 1,000%, and, sometimes, like, yeah, in the video I was watching, he talks about making radical life choices, and, like,
Mm,
if you're really trying there is no and that was another thing, and this is a word that I am taking out of my vocabulary, is trying. You're either doing or you're not. And this
mhm.
is something my husband told me when we first started dating. I said, "Oh, I'm gonna try to do that." And he says, "Do or do not. There is no try." And
I
for
know,
all my
look,
Star
I know
Wars,
you was like this.
I'm like, "Okay, baby Yoda. Okay, Yoda."
Who are you talking to? Who are you
Huh?
talking to? I'm doing my best.
Exactly, exactly, and I'm like, "Okay." So it's like one of those words that, like, I have, through just radical changes, completely have taken out of my vocabulary, and it's funny, and, it's like having people that correct you around you they're great, but in the
They're
moment, it's like, you wanna
exactly, exactly.
you
Look,
want to, you know, you wanna, like, slap them, but then you're like, you have to thank them because they're actually, caring about how you're living your life and what you are doing, and I think you just have to have those friends because you have those friends that always wanna complain and always wanna gossip, and, we don't sometimes it's like you have to have those friends that are like, "But what are you doing to better that?" And you say you want this, but do you actually want this? Type of thing. Because I'm that friend with you because you always be like, "I'm just talking to you like a friend."
exactly. Yes, y'all don't understand, and that's the why me and Teresa work so well. Because 'cause I'll be like, "I'm just telling you how I feel. I didn't ask you to help me." So trust me when I say, like, you need
Mhm.
those people in your corner that's gonna basically
Yeah,
counteract you or challenge you so you can, move past whatever's happening or whatever you're going through at that time. So I'm
exactly.
grateful for those things. And even though we may, like I said, look, we're spirits living human experiences. So of course we're gonna have human reactions when somebody tries to correct you or something. It's like I didn't ask you for that. I just needed you to listen. Like so, with that being said, that's where communication comes in. You have to say, listen, I'm not asking for your advice. I just need you to listen to what I'm saying. Because if you put that out there ahead of time, no one, they're gonna hit you with this. Can I say something?
That's me. You know what? Sometimes you just have to put your friends that's the one thing I have to do, is, like, sometimes if I wanna complain, I'm not going to my husband because he's gonna try to
Oh,
fix it, he's gonna try to
oh,
do something. I'm gonna go to my girlfriend. But sometimes
yes.
you just have to have your friends that, she not gonna let me get away with this bullshit, so I'm just gonna come over here and I'm gonna talk to this
Mhm.
other friend because she gonna let me complain, and then when I'm ready, I'm gonna come over to this other friend because I know she's gonna make me do something about it.
Mhm. And that's
And
my
so
problem. That's my problem. I don't have anybody who lets me do anything. I can't get away with anything, and that's not a bad thing, though. When I say problem, that's the best problem I can have. Somebody
mhm,
who's gonna keep me accountable, somebody who's gonna say, "Oh, I understand how you feel. However, you may be wrong." You need those people to understand the other perspective.
yeah,
So definitely
agreed.
grateful for that.
Because, that's the thing about scarcity, thinking it affects every area of your life.
Huh?
It's the belief that there isn't enough, not enough opportunities, and that's why we have to always, like, kinda check each other and have those friends that are like, "Hey, there is enough opportunities. Hey, there is enough success. Hey, there is enough time because otherwise we're thinking there's not enough time, there's not enough success, there's not enough resources, there's
Mhm.
not enough for you.
And there is. There's enough for everybody.
Mhm.
There's enough for everybody in this world. If you want it, you just have to be able to go and grab it, you know? We
Exactly.
we are born with we are worthy of abundance when we're born, okay? And that's the thing I believe for everybody wholeheartedly. Like, we are born to accept abundance. And the crazy thing is, you can have money and abundance and still operate from a scarcity
Oh,
mindset.
yeah.
You ever, prime example, you ever got paid and be like, okay, I paid all my bills. This is a little more money than what I'm supposed to have. Why do I have so much money? Something's missing. Something's missing. You feel like you're not worthy of having that extra
Mhm.
funds. You're operating from a source of scarcity,
Yeah.
or you can have the support and feel unsupported. You can have
Mhm.
everybody in the world ready to support you and be around for you and look out for you, but you're not reaching out to your system.
Yeah. And
You can
that's
be
even like, that's even like, thinking of like people who have money. You look at like the billionaires, let's see, that are out there, and the ones that are operating from scarcity are look at, Elon Musk. He is hoarding like his trillions of dollars. And
Mhm,
you look at some of these people who they're not giving. Now, granted, you don't have to give all of your wealth away. You don't have to justify that. But I think if you're coming at life from a place of abundance, you should be wanting to give back and to give to those who are making you successful and give to those who are lower, least amount of fortunate, and to those who, and I think that's why a lot of people think rich people are bad because you see those people glamorized and you
mhm,
see out there. But then I see, I'm scrolling on like TikTok and there's this YouTuber and he just goes around Walmart and buys people like carts full of clothes and stuff like that and just gives away all of this money. Granted, probably just for the YouTube videos, but he's doing that, and that's what I tell my girls is like, I want to be
mhm.
so rich because I just have abundant thinking and I know that I want to be able to help so many people to help them, and without money you can't help them. And I just know that there's so
Yeah.
much abundance in this world, there's so much out there that I'm not afraid to give it away. I'm not afraid to do everything with my money because I just know that whatever I give freely is just going to come back to me tenfold, because that's my
Mhm.
affirmation that I always tell myself.
Yes, ma'am. Everything I spend
Yeah.
comes back to me 10 times. Excuse me. And like, you know, like what I was saying is you can have the support and feel unsupported. You can be loved and still fear abandonment. Scarcity is a mindset before it is a circumstance. You put yourself into the mindset that you are scared. You are scarce on funds. You are scarce on abundance. You are scarce on the resources around you, and you're manifesting that reality. You
Mhm.
need to make sure you do not manifest that circumstance and be able to set apart what's going on from what you actually from the positive emotions that will bring you to prosperity and abundance.
Yeah.
So,
We were just talking about this on book club on Tuesday. We were talking about, the things that we focus on. And we talked about the RAS system in our brain. And the RAS system is the reticular activated system. And that is the thing that tells your brain what to focus on because we have so many inputs that go into our brain on the daily basis and we can't focus on everything. So our brain has to filter what it alerts us to. So it won't let us hurt ourselves. It alerts us to that. This is where it comes into the sabotage in our subconscious and all the things is going to alert us to the scary things that are outside of our norm and all of that. And so we have to really train our brain to really focus on not the scarcity and the lack and the thing, because our brain will show us all of that. Our brain is going to let us know, hey, these are all of the things that are bad and wrong and all of that. But we have to start training our brain to focus on the abundance. We have to focus on, okay, there's two sides to every coin, there's two sides to everything. There is a negative and there is a positive. So we have to train our brain, okay, let's not focus on the lack, let's focus on the abundance in
mhm.
life. Because for me, scarcity showed up as fear. That's what my brain was always telling me. It was like, "You need to be fearful. You need to be fear fear of spending, fear of making the wrong decision." My gosh, I
Yes.
could talk about this forever. Fear of taking opportunities, fear of success, because success brings visibility. And the one thing that changed a lot of things in the book that we're reading for book club is called Happy Pocket Full of Money. And in the book, it talks about fear and it labels it false evidence appearing real. And so we get so fearful of like these made up things that we make up our brain just wants to tell us about, because the success brings visibility. And if our brain is so afraid of that, you have the responsibility of that, and that just freaks us out, and our brain's like, "No,
You
no, change is
look,
bad.
look,
No change. We don't
listen,
want to change." And if we're honest, I know I have been up until I had to be like, "You know what? I completely changed my life 7 years ago, and now I'm just, like, into the." I didn't even dip my toe into the change pool. My husband pushed me all in the deep end.
girl, listen. I could talk about this all day. I'm gonna sip my favorite beverage before I go into this. However, yes, let me tell you something. I've never liked change ever in my life. Anything that changes, I don't like it. At my job, I don't like it. Something new, I don't like it. I was that girl, okay? And let me tell you, it took me to have to understand that change was growth in order to be able to accept it. And I did not want to. However, I had to because when you're a growing adult, you have no boop choice, okay? You have no mother boop choice for real because you
Mhm.
have to move forward in life. You have to make those changes in order to progress and become a
Yeah.
better person. Change is nothing I've ever liked. And it's so funny. I'll never forget at my job. I've been at my same job for about 17, 18 years now. And when I first started, I have my business too, baby. I just still have a job. You gotta have some other funds too. But so when I never forget when I first started, my boss told me, "You know what, Keisha, you are a spitfire employee." She said, I had attitude too. I was 19 years old. Come on now. So she was like, you do have a little bit of attitude, but you're a great worker. However, she was like, you got to get comfortable with change because things are going to change multiple times. And if you don't get comfortable with that, you're not going to progress. You're going to stay stagnant. You're not going to move forward. And it took for me to really see it because she wasn't my manager in a few years. I was like, "Oh, no." Like, it's the rug gets ripped from underneath you, and you
Yeah.
realize you have no choice. Life is gonna change without you regardless, so stop worrying about if it is or not because it will. It will. It is what it is.
Yeah, I just had to, like, really reframe change in my mind.
Mhm.
Change to me is just growth, and if we are not changing it, we're not growing, and then we're just being stagnant, and I don't
Yes.
wanna be stagnant. I want to always be bettering myself. And that just comes with change. So
Mhm.
I've just every time I get scared or something has to change or I have to do something different than what I'm doing, I just always
Mhm.
remind myself that this is growth and we can't get to our goals without the growth that we need. And so
Nice.
I just had to make it a positive thing, which
Yeah.
is not easy. It just goes back into like you have to be able to train yourself, and that's just repetition and keep doing, and community, and your friends, and the people that you're around. That's for sure.
And that's so good because, many people think that they're afraid of failure, but
Mhm.
sometimes we're actually afraid of the success that's going to come at the end of this.
Oh yeah, I see that more often with people than they are a failure.
Oh, yeah. hmm
Mhm.
Because because sometimes we don't know what to expect. Things happen.
Mm.
You're like, oh my God, oh my God, I'm doing a great job. What do I do? I'm not going to do good again. What if I don't do it? We sabotage ourselves from
Yeah,
having the success because we're successful. So now you're sabotaging yourself for future success because you don't know how to handle
yeah,
what you have. And we don't have to be afraid of success. We're afraid of becoming the women we've been praying to be. And that's not
mhm,
what we want, For me, Scarcity showed up in relationships and self-worth, I would say. I used to believe that I had to earn my love, earn support, earn acceptance from other people other than myself. Like there was a limited amount available to the whole world. It was just this specific amount, and I just
Mhm,
wanted a little piece of the pie, you know what I'm saying?
mhm.
Just a little bit of love, a little support. Realized how often I was settling because I believed I could. I couldn't. I didn't realize how often I was settling because I believed I couldn't ask for more.
Mhm.
And that's what scarcity does to us. It convinces us to shrink. It convinces us to get into a box. We don't need to be as big as our personality says we are. We just need to shut off and cut ourselves off because we no, that's not what we need to do. We need to expand, and step out and move forward because we can have the things that we want. There is no limited space available. All you have to do is give yourself the support and acceptance that you need
Yeah,
to push forward. You don't need to accept that from somebody else. And it took me to understand that after being in this situation to move forward. You don't want to shrink for anybody. We want to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and better.
agreeing. And that just comes with our, programming, I swear. Like,
Yes,
'cause,
it does.
you think of from the time you're a little kid, you talk too much, your parents telling you to be quiet, you're doing too much. In school, they're telling you you're too much, sit down, be quiet, you have to be this specific thing. In the job, it's like everyone's telling you what you need to be. And I think adulthood,
Mhm.
I didn't start finding myself and what I was meant for until I was in my 30s. And sometimes you just feel like, at
Yes.
least for me, I felt like I had to have permission to do that because we're
Yes.
always like, you have to be this, you have to do that. And that's what, for the most part, what we're taught. And then someone came into my life and was like, no, you can do something completely
Mhm.
different. You can reinvent yourself. I remember when I turned 33, my husband said that's your Jesus year. And your Jesus year is like where you arose and you become a completely different person. And from the time I turned 33, I'm now 39. I have completely I'm talking on stages, we have a podcast. I'm like, "Who is she? What? I was a janitor 7 years ago scrubbing
Yes, ma'am.
toilets on 3rd shift." Like, "What? Who is she?"
Absolutely.
And so, those it's like you're never too late. And I was watching this thing and someone was telling me about this 60-year it was your mom. We were talking about your mom completely reinventing herself
Mm.
as she in her her older years, like doing her own business and her own line and just doing something completely different. And there's never a time where you just can't do that. But you
Yes.
have to get out of like this conditioning that we have on top of ourselves.
Yes, I completely agree, like wholeheartedly. Being able to understand that you can always reinvent yourself. It doesn't matter the
Yes.
age, it doesn't matter what's going on in your life. You can always do something that you want to do. It doesn't matter your circumstances, you can make it work.
This is why we just need to talk about some scarcity statements because these this the scarcity statements are what we are programmed, right? This is what we tell ourselves. This is what we have to like reshift our brains. This is how to do it in these little increments. So
Mhm.
let's dive in. Let's talk about some of these scarcity statements women say all the time. I
Mhm.
can't afford that. I don't have enough time. People like me don't do things like that. That's probably not for me.
Or I'll start I'll lose weight when when I have more money, when I feel confident, I'll do this. We say those things and we often speak from limitation instead of possibility. We're speaking from a state of, yeah, I'll get there eventually, when we really need to have the mindset of, you know what, I'm going to make this happen. Not,
Mhm,
I'm going to try, like you spoke earlier. I'm not going to try, I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure I lose the weight. I'm going to lose the weight today. Like
mhm,
you putting that instead of putting limitation on our speech instead of put possibility.
yeah. Yeah, because that's the important thing. This is what we teach inside Becoming Her. You have to have you have to have the identity first. The big thing that I've been learning over the last, 7 years is be, do, have. You have to be the person first to do the thing, to have the thing. And a lot of us want to have the thing first and then we'll do. And the one thing I've learned, um, over my lifetime is that you aren't granted forever. Forever is not a thing that we get, and when we put it off and we're, like, limiting the life that we get to live on this earth, like, that's the thing that's driving me so hard right now. I don't know if it's because 'cause I'm, like, coming up to my 40th birthday next year or what, but, like, I'm, like, not having, like, a midlife crisis in the fact of, like, I wanna go buy, like, a convertible, but I'm like, my mom passed away at 60, so if I pass away at 60, that's 20 more years of life I have. And it's like, what have I truly done? I have so much I want to do and so much I want to live. And when I tell myself I'll do this when, that never comes. It's like when you have a child,
Mhm.
we're raising our kids and my 12-year-old, it's like, well, I'll go clean my room when, and it's like, well, when are you going to do it? And we just have to become the person who cleans our room. We have to become the
Yes,
person
ma'am.
who just wants to lose the weight. Because that's the one thing I've learned is that the abundance starts internally, before money, before the opportunities, before success. You have to believe more is possible. And I'm
Yes, ma'am.
getting so passionate because this is something that I fully believe to my core is that we limit ourselves and the possibilities because it's just more comfortable for our brain. And we have to do those things first.
I agree. That's
And
exactly how I feel because
mm,
what if it could work? What if it could work out?
yeah,
What if the support is available for you?
yeah.
What if success isn't running from you, it's right in front of you? Well, what would you do? What if you're more capable than you think you are right now?
And we want you to sit with this question. Where in your life are you settling because you believe there isn't enough?
And if you weren't operating from scarcity, what would you choose differently? So this week, we want you to pay attention to your language. Every time you say, I can't, I don't have enough, that's not for people like me, we want you
Mhm.
to pause and replace it with, what if I could be? What if it's possible? What if it's meant for me?
Next week we're talking about something that's so many women silently struggle with, the cost of being the strong friend.
Yeah, I'm
Remember,
strong.
self-love is not something you earn. It's something you choose again and again every single day.
Yes, ma'am.
Mhm.
So if you loved today's episode, be sure to subscribe, leave us a review, and share this episode with the woman who needs this message. Every review and every share helps us reach more women who are ready to become her, just like me, you, and T.
Yeah. And join our free Becoming Her community. The link is in the description. This is where we dive deeper into all these concepts inside of our community. Until next time, keep choosing yourself, keep trusting your journey, and remember, you already have everything you need to become her.
Period.